Alright, welcome to another cheap hammer battle report. This time is going to be against AI as uh, normally. I wouldn't say usual because sometimes we get human adversaries, but sometimes we just, do some target practice in the meanwhile. Anyway, as you can see, got a new board. It's the Freezing North. I'm trying to get, this is the first iteration of it. I'm going to get a couple of more things. Some instead of the rocks that I usually use, I'm getting some special rocks that I'm going to use for this like freezing landscape, which is going to be like it's gonna be spiky. It's gonna look like glaciers. So I'm gonna put them once I acquire them and I paint them. I'm just going to replace the rocks, which is the one over there and the two rocks over there with those. But yeah, I mean, like for the meanwhile, I'm just gonna use these rocks, and I'm just going to have some games on this map, and then I'll change it to the other one. I'm planning to do a couple of games in this one, and once the things arrive, make a couple of games as well with the new scenery, and then we can just replace it. But for now, I'll just give you the little tour of the place. So first, in this corner, we got a couple of glaciers. Over there, some I don't know if I can call that an iceberg, but it's two icebergs, and an igloo over there, which curiously had some like Christmas presents over there. I don't know if you can see them. So I painted them like Christmas presents. So yeah, let me focus. There you go. I have some Christmas presents over there, giving that like Christmas vibe, North Pole vibe. Anyway, and there's a couple of rocks over there, nothing special. And then I used some of these skeletons to paint this like ancient beast, like dead in the ice. And of course, like the ground on it, as well as the same colors as the mat. With some bones over there. Here's another rock, nothing special. And then I got this on, I think it was on Temu that I got it, pretty cheap. Is this temple over here? Temple or like abandoned mausoleum, something like that, So I kind of like quick painted it, and now it's this ruin on top of this hill. Hill is also the GW hill, and I painted it thematically for this like frozen landscape. Got a little tomb over there, maybe somebody long ago, some Norse tribe, who knows, something like that was buried over here. Couple of other tombs, the fences. So yeah, that's the main centerpiece of this map, and yeah, that's it for like the map. It's like very north Pole, or like the wastelands of the Chaos Wastelands on Warhammer themed. I like it. It was a pretty cheap mat that I got. I got it also on Temu. It was like maybe €4, something like that. And then it's like you can just recreate so many stuff with it. Under it, I think I had the desert one. Yeah, because this material, it looks nice. I mean, it's like it has good quality, but of course, if it touches like the wood that it's under, it would probably damage it. And the desert one is more resistant, more reliable. But so I just put it under just to protect it, and then I put the other one on top. So yeah, this is the landscape. Yeah, I like it, Now let's go through the two lists. It's going to be 2,500 points, and it's going to be lizardmen against vampire counts. Good. I think this time I'm going to use one proxy. I usually don't like to use proxies, but since almost just since the beginning of the channel, I use some proxies or some cosplay units in some of the videos, but I realize it's just awful. It's like it takes away from the immersion. So I just like to use what I got. But for example, I'm probably tomorrow or something like that, I'm going to get a miniature that I bought, which is like a metal one. It's a vampire count that is from like maybe 2 generations ago, and it has like a huge wing. It's like half mutant, half mutated, and half vampire, kind of like Strigoi-ish. But I'm using it as my Bargolf because I like it more than the Bargolf, and I'm mounting it in like a broken bell, like the bell of a town that got destroyed. So it's gonna look okay, you know. So I'm just going to use that as my Bargolf. But in the meanwhile, while I get it, I'm just going to use this jungle swarms as my Bargolf. Anyway, so let's go through the lists. I'm going to start with the lizardmen. For the lizardmen, it's going to be, as you can see as well, you know, like in the previous one, I'm just using the correct size of what the deployment or the unit should look like, because the bases of the heavy infantry from the Soros warriors is like bigger, so now the movement trays are the correct size. So it's going to be a unit of 40 Soros warriors full command, spears, a unit of 20 Temple Guard, of course, with the Slan. I'm in the process of finish painting him. Slan Mage Priest, level 4, with Sauros All Blood as well in the unit. Remember if I arm him with something. I think it's just regular. He has his own equipment. I think I put like maybe the Wand of Jet on the Slan. I think they have the what was it? It's the standard, the Razor standard, so they can just cut through more. Oh no, the Blazing standard. So they got the Blazing banner, and I think I armed the. I put the Wand of Jet on the Slan, and I put the Ruby Ring of Ruin on the champion of this unit, so they can also have cast Fireball. So that's a good thing. 3 jungle swarms, nothing special. 16 call 1 riders. Hopefully they don't fall prey to stupidity. But yeah, 16 call 1 riders. Well, it depends. I mean, if I end up playing with the vampire counts, yes, I would like them to be stupid the whole match. But if they don't, if I end up playing with the lizardmen, then yeah, I don't want that to happen. But let's see. And a pack of 2 Razordons. Now at the moment, of course, I haven't assembled them, and there's a couple of pieces missing from both of them, but you know, I mean, like most of the miniature is there, and I just then need to get the correct base so I can just mount them over there. Now let's go to the spells of the lizardman. The skink. Forgot to mention, there's a skink mage priest over there, and he has Pillar of Fire and the Curse of the Cowardly Flight. He's going to have this too, and my Slan on the random roll to see what lore of magic he got. He got Necromancy. He's going to have the Dwellers Below, the Curse of the Years, the Spiritual Vortex, and the Apotheosis. By the way, there's another unit of 12 skink skirmishers with blowpipes as scouts. They haven't been deployed yet. And that's it for the vampire counts. For the lizardmen. Let's go into the vampire counts. Alright, for the vampire counts, we're gonna start over here. We got 3 spirit hosts, 3 crypt horrors. Behind it is the jungle swarm that's supposed to be a what's the name? The Bargolf. 6 Black Knights, full command, barding, everything. A unit of 45 skeletons, hand weapons and shields. A unit of 15 grave guard, and it has a vampire thrall, necromancer acolyte, vampire count, a Strigoi ghoul king over here, and finally another vampire count that is the battle standard bearer. A unit of 25 crypt ghouls, a unit of 40, I think it is, yeah, 40 zombies, 5 dire wolves, and the corpse guard in the back. Now let's go through the spells to see what we got. So I'm gonna go in the order of how they are formed, because this is like the main unit, and the heroes are formed in like this. So the first vampire count, it has necromancy. He's going to have unquiet spirits. The second one, the acolyte, has Van Hell's Dance Macabre and Deadly Cabal. Next, the vampire count is going to have Doombolt and Stream of Corruption. Next, the Strigoi is going to have Soul Leader and Raise Death. And finally, the BSB is going to have Hellish Vigor. And of course, the Necromancer over here, I'm just going to assign him the regular signature spell from he has Necromancy, so it's gonna be the one. I don't remember which one it is. It's the one that's over there. Let's see the signatures. The Dwellers Below. So he's just going to have Dwellers Below as well. And yeah, that will be all for the spells of the vampire counts. So I'm going to roll to see who gets turn 1 and which army am I going to be playing with, and which one is the AI going to be playing with. Anyway, so on to the first round. All right, so it's going to be vampire counts for AI, and I'm going to play the lizardmen. Now, as always, first crunch all the information. Deployments, that was one, as a text file. Second, reference sheet, so it just doesn't, it knows exactly what game are we playing. The reference sheet is downloadable on the internet, so you can just find it. If you upload it, immediately it understands at least the rules and can make sudden consultations, just in specific cases or in specific scenarios, subtle consultations, so that it can just keep the game going. But it's a great plus to add to the package of files that have to be added for the AI to understand exactly what we're doing. So okay, deployments, lists, reference sheet with Lords of Magic, picture of the battlefield, and finally, what was the last one? And 2 pictures of, for example, what I do is I show him the pictures of the spells that are available, and I show him the picture of the spells from both armies. So all the information is already known, banners, everything, and then, as always, it has to crunch out sort of like a strategy, a grand strategy that you have to commit to it, so that you can that it can avatar you kind of into playing its grand strategy with everything that it has. And then you can just counter it or anything. Anyway, so as always, what is the AI's grand strategy? It says, Vampire Counts grand strategy, core objective, win through attrition and magic enabling grinding. Vampire Counts excels at targeting and racing models back, blah 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 blah. Avoid a fair stand-up against the Temple Guard bunker. Force multiple combats across the board, so your Raise Dead and Van Hell's keep pressure high while the slant magic is spread thin. So basically just avoiding that. Didn't clarify anything about the 16 Gold One Riders. Anyway, says in the deployment, far left dire wolves, pull your skin screens or force the cold one over to commit, blah blah blah. I don't know what the hell does it mean with that. Maybe it means the skin handlers over here, or it thinks that I have already deployed the skin skirmishers, but yeah, they haven't been deployed yet. Left center, 40 skeletons plus 40 zombies, 25 crypt ghouls, and Tomb Banshee. Tomb Banshee is over there. I don't know what it means. Maybe I have to relocate the Tomb Banshee, because I think it wanted it to be over here. But it's talking about those things, plus the Tomb Banshees, like the Tomb Banshees over there, skeletons and zombies over there. It says, ghouls going in front for poison attacks against Saurus warriors. So it wants all of those blocks to attack those ones over there. I don't know how, because at least the zombies are trapped over there. Well, I'll stick to what it says. In the center, and Banshee position to scream at characters, cause panic on chaff. There's no chaff. Well, kind of get what he's saying. Center right, 6 Black Knights. Used as a flank or rear charges, counter threats, okay. Crypt Horrors and Spirit Hosts, just as support, Tar Pit. And the far right, the Bargold, Flanker, Hunt the Skink Priest, Razordons, or roll up in the line. So it wants the Bargold to go like around, to try to go around and hunt some of the stuff over here. Black Line Reserve, Corpse Guard, buffs. Let's see. Magic Plan, Priority, Van Hell's Dance Macabre, cast on the Black Knights. You heard it. Crypt Horrors or even a Tar Pit for extra movement, just to place them a little bit forward. Priority number 2 is Raise Dead, which mostly doesn't happen, to sustain the Tar Pit of zombies. So he wants to use Raise Dead to just keep these zombies over there, which probably are just gonna get annihilated by the 16 Core 1 Riders. And damage, Doom Bolt, Stream of Corruption. Yeah, that's pretty straightforward. Dispel aggressively. And yeah, the rest is just like, we'll just plan the situation according to what happens in the first turn. And then he can like make critical decisions. And then I'll just make the decisions on the side of the lizardmen. Anyway, so it's on to Vampire Counts turn 1. Alright, end of turn number 1. Not really much happening. Not in range of a lot of spells or hexes. Enchantments. Van Hell's Dance Macabre got casted. It got the double 6. So it was power up to 12. It gave 3 on movement and 2 on weapon skill. Aside from that, no Raising Dead, anything. Things have moved forward. The only thing is the wolves vanguarded and then charged into the unit of Razordons. They actually lost combat, but because they have cold blood, they threw 3 dices. They lost combat by 2. They threw 3 dices and they got a 3. So they hold because their leadership is 5. But it was very close for them to be chased off the board. And then, the wolves would pay themselves at that point, you know, it's like destroying this whole unit. So they got another chance of like retaliation, because now they don't have Slavering Charge. But they gave ground. So if they lose combat again, they're going to give ground, or I don't know if they're going to hold. But then they could be chased off the map. Nothing else has happened. Reforming the zombies. All of these decisions been made by Grok. Some of them like giving the pass, pretty much. That's the thing. It's like mostly it's like, okay, just corroborate. Most of the things are just very straightforward. So there's not much that you can say like, okay, some things are not out of the ordinary. I mean, like this. Unless you got like maybe some conveyance spells that can just take a unit, pull it somewhere else. These are the critical like options that Grok can have. But sometimes it's just pretty straightforward. Things are just gonna go the way they're intended. Anyway, reforming like this, and ghouls, since they can move through cover, they're just gonna hold over there in the place in the ruins. Until May the 16, Saurus Call 1 Riders start arriving into trying to get into combat over here, and then they can be charged on the flank by the ghouls. There's not anything else they can do because they cannot charge through cover, and they just gotta move. So they're gonna get like counter charge or charge in the flank, and maybe just getting hauled by these guys, and then the attack by the main unit with all the heroes with the great weapons. So that's that. Let's go into Lizardman turn 1. Alright, end of Lizardman turn 1. Jungle Swarms charge into the ghouls. They created 2 wounds. 3 wounds. No, sorry, yeah, 2 wounds. and they charge. Ghouls didn't do any wounds back at the jungle swarms, so they lost combat by 3 and lost 5 ghouls in the process. Call one riders passed to stupidity, got over there. The rest of the dire wolves got eliminated. There's just one Razordon with 1 handler and another Razordon with 2 handlers left. But at least they can still move and shoot and do some stuff. Over here, Skink Skirmishers popped over here at 12 inches away from the ghouls and went into the ruin, blow some darts until that unit didn't do anything. The unit of Temple Guard used the Ruby Ring of Ruin, shoot at the Black Knights, actually got a double 6 when trying to get as many wounds as possible, but it didn't do any damage, it just killed one of them. Unitosaurus Warriors move over there and casted Spiritual Vortex right there. So that's that. That will be it. Let's go to Vampire Counts turn 2. Alright, Vampire Counts turn 2. End of Vampire Counts turn 2. Units move over here. Units move forward, positioning to try to just make a certain charge. Over here is kind of confusing, but there's not much that they can do. So they're just moving slowly forward. Over here, ghouls won the battle. Make those 2 jungle swarms give ground. This one is locked. So they just push forward. And they just stick over there. So that's that. Over here, the unit of zombies are positioning themselves in order to get charged by the Call One Riders. And afterwards, they would get charged by the unit of Vampire Counts. So there's a gamble, and I'm just going to throw to see. Because the other thing is like, okay, if this unit charges over there, it has the potential to wipe out the zombies with so many wounds and combat resolution, wipe them out. It's a 46 wound unit. So it has the potential to wipe them out and then turn around and face that unit. The thing is, like, if it gets stuck over there, then this unit charges the flank, and then it could pretty much just wipe out the whole unit of Call One Riders. So I'm just gonna gamble it for the sake of it. So let's see. On 4 to 6, it has to charge. On 1 to 3, it's just gonna pull back because there's not much to gain over here. It's going to have to charge. So yeah, that's the decision being made. It's going to charge that unit, and we'll see how we fare with those guys. The other thing is like it has to still pass its stupidity test, but that's pretty much it on this flank. Not much has happened. No spells were really. Well, there was Doombolt was cast over here, killed one of the Call One Riders, but not much damage. And yeah, that's about it, pretty much for Vampire Counts turn 2. Sorry. So onwards to Lizardmen turn 2. End of Lizardmen turn 2. Lizards move forward. They gotta get into combat, so they just march forward, accompanied by them. Fireball casted up over that unit. Some casualties, nothing much. Try to cast Pillar of Fire, didn't work. These guys are getting closer to trying to get the rear. So gotta get into combat eventually. We'll have to see what is decided that happens over there. Over here, failed stupidity, remain in place. So maybe they start getting charged. They could possibly get charged by those units. And I don't know what the outcome is gonna be. Ghouls win the combat again. Push, give ground on that side. This one is locked, but did a lot of wounds. So they are getting close to just wiping out the jungle swarms. Skink Skirmishers did some blow darts at that unit. Didn't do much. So some skeletons went down. The 2 Razordons shoot barbs at those guys, just killed 1 zombie, so not being effective. Anyway, so on to Vampire Counts turn 3. Alright, lots of random rolls. Strategically, a lot of the charges didn't make sense, so I decided to start implementing a new roll. I'm just gonna throw and see what happens. You know, like it is not in my control as much as it is. And it was agreed with Grok as well, or with the AI. So lots of charges. Spirit Host charge into the flank Crypt Horrors charge over here, Bargulf charge, Chaos Knights charge. They make their dangerous terrain test. One of them died. Banshee move over there, tried to do her scream, didn't do anything. Then over here, zombies charged, and the big unit. This is the scary one. This is the big unit with all the vampires charge as well into the Cold One Riders. I don't know. I think this unit's gonna get destroyed. They got Deadly Cabal and they got Van Helsden's Macabre, so they have like plus movement. I think this unit's gonna get wiped out. But let's see. Also because they got amazing saves. And already this whole unit, this whole distribution of units actually attack at the Soros Wars and managed to only kill 5 of them. So we'll see how it goes but there's a lot of engagements happening at the moment. Let's see what happens. All right, end of Vampire Counts turn 3. Terrible turn for the Vampire Counts. The Jungle Swarms got eliminated. The Cold One Riders got completely killed. They did the best strategy was to just allocate all the attacks against these guys, but the HQs, the heroes, attack first, and yeah, they did so many wounds against the unit that it was pretty much impossible for them to bounce back. They lost combat, and yeah, they end up breaking and then getting pursued and then run down by the unit of the Grave Guard over there. They didn't even have to hit, but just because the attacks with the great weapons from the commanders were so heavily, it was just enough to break them. The zombies also did, I think it was 1 wound. So yeah, I mean, like between the charges, banners, BSB, extra lines, close order, everything, there was like, they had to test at 4. They could have been testing at 6, even at 6, and it was pretty much the same result. They got so eliminated. So yeah, Go One Riders are off, which gives the Vampire Counts a huge advantage. And the unit of Temple Guard, it's in a big dilemma because it cannot do anything and it doesn't have any conveyance spells to move. So it's trapped until these units can just like kill it. Or this unit just is in the way, pretty much cannot do, the attacks are not enough, or maybe eventually to start chipping into some of these units, but it depends on how hard the other guys keep attacking. But yes, the ghouls and everything is just going to start moving into this direction. Of course, there's a long way to go over here to try to get this unit. So best bet is to, you know, reform the Slan and just make him face this direction to eventually counter some or charge into one of these units. But anyway, that's Vampire Counts turn 3. Let's go to Lizardmen turn 3. All right, end of Lizardmen turn 3. Terrible. As you can see, something is missing over here. Terrible a turn for the Lizardmen. So they attacked, and my idea or hypothesis, it was using all the attacks concentrated on the Crypt Horrors. Why? Because they only save on the 6+. They don't have much armor. Because if I allocated the attacks on the Riders, well, they got a 2+ armor save and maybe a 3+. So I thought maybe they could just take out. It was pretty much kind of the same because it was a lot of attacks. Could have gone to these guys or these guys, but they barely did any damage to the Crypt Horrors. Then they did some wounds, then they did some wounds, and then the Ghost did some wounds. Just since they are open order, only the one that is touching actually is able to just allocate attacks onto the unit, but that was enough. They lost the combat, they even re-rolled, because since it's a break test, they cannot use cold-blooded, so they have to use, and they were disrupted, so I couldn't claim any rank bonus or anything. They could re-roll because the battle standard bearer, which is the slang, was over there, but it didn't matter. And then when they retreat, they got pursued by the Bargulf, and then they got caught up and eliminated. And Apart from that, this unit just turned around. It's facing over there. The skinks are over there. So pretty much in the turn of vampires, it's just going to be probably the ghouls are just going to charge into the skinks, wipe them out, and prepare to charge through the cover just to get to this unit, which they are locked already in combat because the Bargulf charged them on the flank, overrun, and crashed into the flank of the unit, onto the rear of the unit, which is even worse. And then a couple of turns, and then probably the zombie is going to charge over there. The lords are going to come over here, but it's already a handicap of 1,000 points. I mean, the main heroes like the skink priest and the slan is over there. The skink priest is going to get taken over by the knights. These guys are going to get wiped out. Well, they can flee. I mean, fire and flee, but they didn't cause any damage to the ghouls. With the ghouls, between the ghouls and the vampires and everything, it's just too much. I don't think this unit is going to be able to cause a lot of damage. Still, I mean, my old blood is over there and my slan, but I mean, it's going to get attacked by knights, skeletons, spirit hosts, crypt horrors, the Bargulf. Razordons are going to get probably attacked by the zombies, and they can't hold on against them, especially 3 of the skink handlers. 3 of them are already dead. Yeah, I mean, like, mainly the problem is this unit, and even if that's the case, I mean, I could just discuss it with the AI, and the other thing is, like, the ghouls just end up just chasing down these guys, and the Bargulf does some wounds over here. There's not really any necessity of engaging this thing. You can't just chaff it with zombies and just wait until maybe turn 5, because they're gonna take a long time until they catch with somebody. So you could just play that, just throw maybe units or random units in front of them, and that's about it. You just turn around and just move away, because it's a very killy unit. The problem is, like, it's not going to reach anybody. It's not gonna do anything. So, I mean, like, if it marches, let's say, for example, let's work this exercise. Let's say the ghouls go over there, try to charge against these guys. They fire and flee. They move outside. Now they're in range of getting charged by the skeletons, the knights, and everything. So skink's gonna be dead. If they stay, they're gonna be wiped out by the ghouls. That's just a matter of time. Then let's say this unit holds, or it moves backwards. So it just moves backwards. It doesn't really need to get in the way or go against this unit. It moves 8 inches. It marches. So I'll march over here. It just can move a little bit, but it can just keep moving back, and the unit is just going to pursue it by marches. Besides march, you cannot just pivot and march. You gotta choose. You gotta make that big movement, which takes all that time, and then keep pursuing. And then by that time, it's like vampire counts have moved over there, eliminated the rest of all this crap, and they can just keep moving in a circle, just wasting time and not allowing the main unit, which is this is where most of the points are. But without the skinks, and the handicap will be already on 1,200, and the vampire counts haven't lost any units. So yeah, I think it's a good moment to just call it quits. It was a terrible, but I mean, like, the thing about it is the reality of the situation. It was the random deployment, because that's what you get. The random deployment hurt the unit of Temple Guard, because there was no way. The idea, or I suppose the best idea, was just to march the Soros warriors as fast as possible, but then they would be targeted by other units, like the spirit host or something like that. And the positioning of the Temple Guard was terrible. It was just like it got stuck in between the ruin and the Soros warriors. There was no way that it could just push forward. And over here, like, the skinks, that was a good thing, because they could just, like, keep going around the ruin and just keep shooting at random things. Like, it can go over there and just shoot at these guys. Of course, then it comes in line of vision of the of the, which is actually interesting. Then the Tomb Banshee can just scream at them and just completely wipe them out. You know, it's like there are things that I didn't took in consideration. But you see, this things, there's a lot of options when it comes to vampire counts. And the deployment was just terrible. And of course, one of the other things is like, there was this action that it could have changed a little bit the battlefield, which was charging and destroying the unit of zombies and then facing the unit of vampires. But it failed stupidity and then got charged both times. And by that point, it's impossible to avoid it. Anyway, clear victory for the vampire counts. No, it doesn't make any sense to just keep going. So yeah, victory for the vampire counts. Thank you very much for watching this video, and I will see you on the next one.